Hello and welcome to Gemma's Window for January 2020. If you have followed the calculations from the calculation box below or my website, gemmaswindow@gmail.com, and you have concluded that you are a power year number 8, then you're at the right place. Okay, 8s, you will be a power year number 8 for the entire year of 2020. So you only have to calculate your power year number once. Every month, your monthly number will change, and that's where I come in. I am going to let you know what your number is and what it means in regards to what to expect is going to happen to you this month. Let's review those numbers. If you're a power year number 8, 8 is the most karmic number of the numerological cycle. And it means you're coming very close to the conclusions of a certain period of your life. It means that you can be very rewarded for good behavior if you've always been honest and you've always handled things with integrity. You can expect karmically some good things to happen to you this year in 2020. But this is where it gets a little tricky. We can be carrying karmic debt from past lives with us, where you've been a good soul, and suddenly something goes awry and you say, well, why is this happening when I've really been good in this lifetime? I don't understand. And it can be because you're still carrying some kind of karmic debt with you from a past life. So it can be a little bit tricky. So I wouldn't want you to think that I must have done something bad because I got let go from my job and I wasn't expecting that, and I guess it's payback. And it's really, really not. It's that everything that happens to us is to bring us into a higher spiritual being. It forces us to address things that have to be healed in our lifetimes, and let's think of things in terms of that, more positive than we're being punished from the universe, because I just don't really think that's the case. I think people are very nice and really do try to do things in a nice way, and they have moments. We all have our moments, but anyway, that's one of the angles of 8, is that it's a karmic year. But another big part of 8 can be success in terms of business. You might start your own business this year. You might start to see success in a business that you own this year, or you might just start to see success in your job somehow this year, or in an unexpected way come into some kind of prize or money, something along those lines. Another thing about 8 is to let go of being a victim this year and to understand your part of a situation, your responsibility in a situation of why it went this way or that way, good or bad, and taking yourself out of the victim position. But that's another story for another day. Now, the month of January, you're in the month of 9, and 9 is the month of endings. That will be the month of endings for you, and a lot of times that can be a good thing. So why don't we go ahead and start shuffling the deck, and let's take a look at those of you who are working. So if you're an 8 and you have a job right now, let's take a look at how you're perceived or what's ahead for you in this month of January in the workplace. Okay, let's take a look-see. Okay, for our 8s, what can we expect in the month of January, which is the month of 9? I think that the ending is going to come from within for you, eights, because the cards that I have here makes me feel like you've been jumping through hoops at the workplace, and it just doesn't seem to be getting you anywhere. And you just feel like, how much more do I have to give before I'm rewarded? Now, I will tell you this, eights. I will tell you that I do have a card here that I feel like it is observed and it is apparent to the people that you work for or the person that you're trying to impress, that yes, indeed, you are doing a good job. And I think that's where the victim comes in, is that they're looking at you and they're saying, well, you are doing a good job, but you have only been here 4 months and there are other people who have seniority over you. So what exactly do you expect? We have to look at them first, and if they're worthy, promote them first, or give them the head of this project, because obviously they are very familiar and it's a very important client, and we want to please that client, and so we're going to continue with this other person heading yet another phase of the project for those reasons. But the cards, the universe, this reading doesn't want you to say, well, of course, oh yeah, of course it's going to be them. It's not going to be me. They're wanting you to take that out of the equation because you are being recognized, and in good time, that will come to fruition. This is a month of endings, and so in January, this message could be for you to stop looking at the crummy side of things, or to stop exaggerating what's really happening and understanding what it really is and what it really means, or to stop maybe taking a look at yourself and thinking that you're doing a better job than somebody else. Maybe you're doing an equal job. Maybe you bring certain things and they bring certain things. That doesn't mean anybody's worse or better. It just means get the victim out of the equation. Now, I'm suspecting you're not going to like these words, but we can tweak them and we can adjust them for those of you that those suggestions aren't applicable, and it can just be you're chomping at the bit. You're just chomping at the bit for something to happen. And in the workplace, something positive or some kind of reward. And you might decide in this month of endings that I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here because, I really like my boss and they seem to really like me, or I'm up for a promotion soon, but I have to get out of here. So you might make that decision, but I don't have here that it's going to be them that makes the decision that it's an ending for you. You may decide. That's the end of that. It's the end of me staying extra hours because I'm not getting anywhere anyway. It may mean something along those lines, but basically I do feel like you're being recognized at work for the things that you do and the things that you don't do. But that could be a reading for another day. So now we're going to shuffle the cards and we're going to ask for our number 8s in the month of January. If you are an 8 and you are looking for a job, what do we have? That's certainly nice to begin with. That's okay. Understandable. Okay, 8s, I must tell you, the waiting is ending in the month of January. You are going to be off to a fresh start with a whole new position or offer. It's been a timing thing. It's just things have had to fall into place. I'm sure you've done your end of the work, or your end of the praying, or your end of the attracting. But I've got the new relationship card where you are going to be making a change. You'll be starting something new, or getting a new offer, or finally bumping into the right person at the right time in January, who's going to be able to lead you to the next step in your working evolution. Coming into being is the having it all card. So I feel like in this year of 2020, you're not meant to just have a job adjustment or new job that really suits you or takes you to better places, but you're meant to have the money or a raise that you've been hoping for, the stability perhaps in that job that you were hoping for. Maybe it's closer to home and you were hoping for that, and maybe you were hoping that this is going to please or help in my relationship area, because I'll be able to dedicate more time to my family or to my loved one, and I'll be able to pay my rent. So it really is the having it all card that's coming into being for you, and you really are meant to be looked down from the beautiful sun and stars and moon, and they're looking at you and trying to place you in the right position at the right time in this month of January, going into February for 2020. Very, very, very nice, eights. Let's move on to love. Okay, eight. So the second section of this reading is going to be about people in a relationship and people looking for a relationship. Okay, so here we go. Those of you eights who are in a relationship, let's start with you. Okay, so let's see what conflicts, if any, we have going on for those of you eights who are in a relationship in the year of 2020. Now, I don't usually link the business side of your reading to your love side, but in this particular instance, it looks applicable somewhat to me, because it looks to me like you have some movement or traveling that might be coming your way, and it may be coming from the workplace, whereas the hours are increasing, or you have to travel to a different location for a while, and that some kind of movement or travel, or something else happens in your life. Maybe a family member needs you and you need to pick up and go there. But there's movement here as far as, could be just a vacation, or you want to go away, but you know, another part of this, I'm just looking at the cards and thinking, another thing that this could mean is that your loved one in your relationship, maybe not finally, or maybe finally, comes up with some ideas about changes they would like. They may have relocated. You may be going to see them. They may be traveling more, and you travel with them or want to travel with them. They may want to relocate and move, and you may have to follow them. It looks to me that whoever is the mover and the shaker in the relationship, the other one is going to have to play catch up. So you're in a month of endings in January, and I feel like one way or another, who's ever been chasing whom in the relationship, one of you is going to say, this has got to stop, this has got to change, this has got to end. Because one of you is thriving and the other one might be hurting. And it's going to end in January. someone is going to say, this has got to end. And I'd be interested to know some stories and some circumstances, but that's what I have here for those of you in a relationship, is that you both want to be on the winning end of a situation, and you are saying, well, or one of you is saying, we're going to work it out so that we're both happy. So let's start talking about it, or let's start making some changes. Eights. Okay, eights, if you're looking for a relationship, there's my little eight, and they're waiting and they're waiting and they're in limbo and they're like, when's this going to happen? And there's the one that got away. I feel like there's a standard eights that you are looking for in love, and that there's an element of waiting, and that's either, are you waiting for someone to come back? Are you waiting for someone to call? Are you comparing everyone new that you meet or just start to chat with a particular person, or an ideal that you think someone should be, and you're like, I'll wait, yes I am, I'm waiting. And then I have coming into being the disillusionment card for you. And I'm touching this card because of the placement, I'm wondering what the message is here. And I'm just giving it a moment, eights, because you're in, and I'm talking out loud and I'm repeating because I want to get to the answer of what this is trying to say specifically for you. In this month of January, you're in this month of endings. And I think what the universe is saying here to you is they want you to recognize red flags when you see them. I don't think the universe wants you waiting around any longer, or at least not complaining about waiting around if you choose to wait for someone who keeps you hanging, or you choose to hold out for the standards that you want, or you choose to say, I'll work all these extra hours, and then when you have a free day, you get depressed because you're like, well, now what do I do? Because you've lost contact maybe with some friends or some family or some, what's going on out there? How can I meet someone? So that would be getting you out of the victim seat. Because I feel like the message here is that, yeah, you're hanging all right, but you may be in limbo or hanging because of some kind of rule or rules that you have created that you're waiting for to happen or come to fruition. This is the month of endings for you for January, and new beginnings will be February. So it will be interesting to see in February where you are in looking for that relationship, because I feel like the impossible dream is what's in your mind right now. You're hoping for the impossible, and the universe is saying, cut it out. This is the end of that belief system. Whatever belief system you've been working on is not working for you to get that new relationship into your life. Again, I would love to be giving you, oh my goodness, yes, look at that, 8, there's someone new. But I got to give you what I'm getting, and though this may not apply to all of you 8s, it is applying to those of you who need to hear it. Okay, 8s, now the last part of our reading is when you come up with a very, very specific question, and then I come up with what's the best outcome for that specific question in this month of January 2020. What can you expect? That doesn't mean it's the final outcome, but maybe it is, but what direction are we going for the best possible outcome in the month of January? Okay? Now, the more specific the question you have, the more specific you can tweak my answer to be. Now, you won't change the ending or the outcome of my answer, but you can make the wording, which will be general, more applicable to your question. I just have you here, you fighting you. I just have you fighting you. I feel like you feel like things are moving very slowly, that they're not going anywhere, but they really are. This card is when I tell my clients, nothing stays the same forever, eights, and you are in a month of conclusion. So you're in a very good month to start to see some action happening in this area of your question where you can possibly get an outcome. Now, due to particular circumstances, we have on one hand discouraged or let down about how things are going. On the other hand, this has made you feel a little bit shaky in your confidence. So, let's see. In the month of January, it is the month of endings for you, and I feel like perhaps just a suggestion here, it's time to let go of wondering what the outcome is going to be, and in February, start moving forward, or the end of January, start moving forward with new ideas, new options, ways that you're more involved with making a conclusion happen. Let's say, for example, you've had a health issue and you've been working with the same doctor and you've just been more and more discouraged by this doctor and dissatisfied, but just over time, the doctor's made you question yourself, because every time you ask questions, they blow it off. They blow it off. They blow it off. So now you're in this predicament with, the partner that I was interested in going to see has left the practice. They've gone someplace else, and I don't know where they are. And I kind of don't even know where to begin to look for someone new. And I wish that maybe I had started looking for someone new 5 months ago when I started to get upset. Instead, I can't just leave. Now it might take me another 5 months to try to find someone new. Whereas had I started in the past, but I do want to reassure you, H, that you are in a month of endings. And I do believe the thing that gets me through life and gets me through hard times is that everything is the way that it should be. And when you're meant to find the answer or get the answer to this particular problem that you have, you're going to get it. And you're in a month of endings in January, and you're meant to change your point of view, or you're meant to change your strategy, because you're kind of waffling now, hoping it's just going to work out because you're not feeling it, to dig in there and start, making heads roll, so to speak, to get to a conclusion. And but you're in the month to do that. New beginnings for February, 8. New beginnings in the month of February for you. So I leave you with that information, 8, to think about and to try to apply to your own lives. I thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I'd love to have you. And any information you'd like to know about me, or if you'd like to get in touch with me, please hop on to gemmaswindow@gmail.com. And I'll see you next month, 8. Bye for now.